Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Shahab.
Hey, good morning. Nice to hear you.
Morning. Majid and others, they might be busy with IEEE this week. Sorry, not IEEE, OIF. When I find that the record, we basically email it to the 2% that I just sent an email about. And they confirmed that they received it, and later on they said they will take care of it, but no feedback.
Sorry, I was on mute. I said that's really strange. But anyways, I think giving the name to a new will help her to track it down.
Yeah, both Steve and John, too, sorry, and Mark were CC'd on it.
Cool.
Sorry, who sent it?
Sorry?
I'm just looking for it.
Oh no,
It was between me and Anu and Jawad and John and Mark, Mike, and
these are all OCP people.
Oh,
correct.
okay.
We're talking about the white paper. So Anu sent an email saying, "Hey, I don't see it. It's not even under evaluation, which is why it's taking so long." And did you upload it? And the answer is, we're not allowed to upload things to their system. We have to get OC people to help us. And so Shab emailed it to the right people, and I don't know what happened. They dropped the
I
ball.
think Anu right now reply, I said now send it to Rob. But without getting any feedback, how an approval of the server, why we had to send it to Rob? Who is Rob?
I don't know any of these people. Sorry.
Me neither. And somewhere in the email, I think Mike also said, I have uploaded as needed now. Let me just send that again to Anu. Okay, I think this is something that Anu needs to, or Jawad needs to sort it out to find out why we submitted. We never got any feedback from server committee, and they never passed it through to the system. I think that's where it got stuck.
Okay.
And back to the list that we had, I think we are still waiting for server committee to get back to us.
Well, yep.
And did you guys have the chance to think about what's the best way to share the Excel sheet if we want to start collecting data. Do you guys have any recommendation?
Well, again, if you start telling people you're collecting data, they're not going to be wanting to participate. I think you want to say we want to encourage people to use the spreadsheet. And one of your ideas was to have a workshop where people use the spreadsheet and we make it go.
Even an empty Excel sheet, where should we post it? On a Google Drive like last time?
Well, the empty spreadsheet is on the Google Drive, right?
Correct, but is it the right place for it or?
Oh, well, I think for now, yes. When the white paper is published, I think it needs to go somehow together with the white paper, so people have both.
Okay, makes sense.
But it may be, and we talked about it at JEDEC, we have a way, like the HPM spec, the bump map, physical bump map for the device is an Excel file. So the
Correct.
spec calls out the Excel file, they're both up on the server, right?
Mhm.
I know we have our list of white papers under our OCP page or ODSA, old ODSA page, and it could be there. It just somehow they have to be
Mhm.
highlighted. If it's just a list of white papers, and you won't know the two go together necessarily. So we need something, but I don't know the answer. One of the problems in JEDEC is getting the exact right name so that when you in the spec can refer to the spreadsheet and they're, has the right name exactly so that they work.
Okay, then let me write it down, then we don't need to get back to it.
For now, I think though, if we wanted to do, as we're getting feedback on the white paper, we'll get feedback from people who try to use the Excel, like I did that, and Mark and recently Majid and said, oh, I don't understand some of these things, or it's confusing, or like I still want to talk. I want to use some time today to talk about the calculations where I made some changes that might have messed things up. So I wanted to see what you want to do there. I was just trying to add all the references. Anyways, let's do that at the end. Take 5 minutes or something.
Okay,
But I think that if we can find a path to encourage people to fill it out and talk about, how products look with various, using the spreadsheet, then we can encourage its adoption in the industry.
okay, sounds good. Then, Kevin, if you don't mind, go ahead with your modification or change on the Excel sheet.
Sure. Sorry, that was big talk, and then I realized I'm not, yeah, I have to sign into Google first before it will let me go to Google Docs. My company I have security measures around Google Docs that makes life a little bit complicated. Okay, there I'm in, I think. But it's better than Morgan. Poor Morgan can't even access it. He's not allowed to go to Google Docs and even look at stuff, which I think is kind of restrictive.
Which company doesn't let you to go to Google Docs?
Infineon.
Hmm.
That was also a rule at a place that I used to work at, but what it really was is you needed special permission. It wasn't a total ban. They just
Yeah,
didn't want
yeah,
they didn't want people posting confidential information to Google Docs, which would allow you to circumvent the security procedures.
that makes sense. And he may have stated it as, you know, an absolute ban when it's actually, you have to do a bunch of paperwork and he doesn't want to, which I can totally understand.
Yeah,
So
that
it
was
could
the
be a
way.
combination of those.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
experienced that.
Yeah, mine is, I can now, I have no problem going to Google Docs, but I can open things. Let's see if that's still true. But I cannot download them without special permission. So that's a new thing that happened this week or 2 weeks ago. All right, so I'm going to try to share. So you can see this, correct?
We do.
I So the file I opened is Interchiplet 2024 for white paper. This is, I believe, the current and most latest version that's out there. What Majid, his comment was, all of these boxes down here were empty. There were no numbers in them. And the white paper has all these sections. So I added 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. James wrote all this, but I just added the numbers to the spreadsheet. That's all I was doing. And then I got confused about power efficiency because power efficiency shows up in 4.3 as a calculation that's unit power over bandwidth, but then it shows up here in a green box as an entry. So are people entering power as picojoules per bit, or are they entering power as milliwatts? And I don't remember. So there's two things to discuss. First, this change I think is non-controversial, although you said you wanted to eliminate line 7.
We can talk about that later, but the major issue right now is 63 and 68, as you mentioned. I think the power efficiency at 63 is the picojoule per bit.
So yes. So if that's an entry in picojoules per bit,
I think the easy fix is that at least on the 63A, at the end of parentheses, we should have something called picojoule per bit. Then people know what they need to write down.
here,
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
And then 68 goes away then because there's no longer a,
I think 68 is slightly different. 68 is 63 divided by unit bandwidth, divided by 66.
divided by 66. No, I think if we're giving picojoules per bit, this is also picojoules per bit because it's power divided by bandwidth. It's this one is unit power, 42 is unit power, and it's instead of an entry, it's
I think first we have to define unit bandwidth in each direction.
that's here,
Okay.
41.
Then unit power 67 is going to get defined as 63 times 66.
Right, 63 times 66, right. And then row 68, section 4.3 in the white paper then would go away, and this is no longer a calculation. Maybe I should open the white paper so we can compare them, but we're saying that's an input, not a calculation. And I think that's an inconsistency between the spreadsheet and that's what I was struggling with. I wanted to talk about today.
I think the one that we you're right.
So this whole thing would just go away like that, and we end up with, because if you look at the white paper, I had written some of it. I put some of the equations in, and there's a whole section that talks about how to calculate picojoules per bit based on milliwatts and bandwidth. But if instead you're giving picojoules per bit as an input, then It's a circular to say it's also a calculation is my point. Oh, hold on, I gotta close my door. Oh, my dogs are super excited. We're on a walk. Okay, you want to open the white paper?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to check one more thing.
Sure. I'm just saying if it's an input in green, which is fine with me, then it's not really a calculation anymore. Which is how the white paper was written. And I honestly, I mean, you can enter power or you could enter power efficiency. It doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to look at the old thing that we had.
Sure.
Okay, we had something called picojoule per bit, which we already have. Oh, I know what's the problem. The power efficiency on line 60, the one that we put picojoule per bit, that shouldn't be picojoule per bit. That should be the total power, including TX, RX, and clock.
So if this, okay, hold on.
That will be on the milliwatt.
Let me do undo. Can I do an undo? Control Z doesn't work in Google Docs. Oh, crap. Why doesn't undo work? Redo. Oh, sorry. There it is. Okay, I put that one back. So you're saying this should really be not power efficiency, but power,
Correct.
and it should be in milliwatts.
Correct.
And then this line should go away.
And hold on to that. This
Right.
is the total power. Let's see from that one first. We need to calculate a couple of things. Now we do have the power. We have to see in how much is the unit bandwidth in each direction. That's the first thing that we need to calculate. I believe that's number 66.
Yep.
And that would be terabit per second per millimeter, correct?
This is just this is picojoules per bit.
No, before getting there, number 66, unit bandwidth in each direction.
It's just, I think it's total, it's just gigabits per second.
Speed per lane, gigabit per second. Okay, then from that one, we need to find out the density, which is terabit per second per millimeter.
That's this one, yeah. That's line 69. And line 70 is terabits per second per millimeter square.
Correct. Now we have basically the total power. We have terabit per second per millimeter, and we have a unit bandwidth, which is gigabit per second. I think now we can calculate all the FOM that we want.
Think so, yeah. But the input is now power in milliwatts,
Correct.
and this number is the same as that number. How do you do? Divide by 0, it's arguing. I don't remember the equations here. So this should be bandwidth per millimeter. Oh, because there's probably no millimeter number entered. No, there is. Beachfront is 1100. So this one should be, should equal the bandwidth divided by,
But we are multiplying by number of stack as well.
right. And number of stacks is max stacked units. This one. I'm going to say that I'm going to put in a 1 so that the equation works. And then this is equal to bandwidth times max stack units divided by the area, and it's probably going to need a factor because it's not in millimeters. And that's terabits per second per millimeter squared. I think those are all correct.
I think so.
Maybe we can. And then edge density over power efficiency. I'm not used to this metric, but
That's terabit per second per millimeter per picojoule per bit. Basically, the you have a picojoule per bit, you have a terabit per second per millimeter, then you divide those two.
okay. And this is picojoules per bit divided by reach, which is there. Never heard that number, but that's fine. So this one is, I think I wrote unit somewhere, but in any event, this is
This is picojoule per bit per millimeter.
per millimeter.
Yeah.
And this one you said should be
Terabit per
terabit
second
per second
millimeter. And then everything
divided by picojoules per bit.
terabit per terabit per second per millimeter per picojoule per bit.
Guess these are a little confusing. It'd be better if they had parentheses to highlight that we're talking about the units. Well, I'm glad we did this. This is a little more than 5 minutes. Sorry. I thought it was a little more straightforward than it turned out to be.
No, this is good. We needed to do this. And thank you for doing it.
Sure. Thank you for reviewing it. And it's boring to watch people type, but you hate it when, but it's just way too many. I tried to do it once and I did wrong. So obviously, or I was confused on some of the meaning.
Sorry, I'm touching the line number 71 if you don't.
Yeah, I'm done. I was just putting parentheses around all the units so that they were clear. Okay. Um. Sounds like a plan.
Thanks.
I'm gonna have to drop shortly. I can join this call by phone, but I won't be at my desk at this
We
time.
have only 2 minutes and no more action item. I think next week we're gonna see if, I tried actually to have synopsis in this call today, but they are all attending OIF. Hopefully by next week, we can get one of them on a call and they go over this and try to fill it as much as they can publicly.
That'd be great. And I was just saying that next week at this time, I will be on the phone. I won't be able to do any
Oh, okay,
typing, but I will join.
okay. Then thanks, Kevin. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, you guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Um,